Hello everyone, welcome back. So today we're going to be playing Misfortune, and we'll be facing off against the Fiddlesticks adventure from the Nightmares campaign. Since they haven't released any new content, I'll just be doing some older content for the foreseeable future. But let's do some champions I haven't played in a while. I'm doing Misfortune specifically because I decided to get her up to 4 stars, or 6 stars I mean. And I think I have an interesting setup here. Guns Blazing makes it so while in combat your spells and skills deal 4 extra damage. So combine that with the Lohan Blade hack, I should be able to keep control of the board nicely. And I can also use the Make It Rains I get from the Grand General's counterplan to help with that. And then I have Luden's Tempest for the extra 1 damage. It might be relevant. So yeah, let's get to it. Shilling Prophecy, Boarding Party, Slow but Steady. Oh, this is huge. Well, I think we just win because we can now remove whatever the opponent summons. Because they'll take 5 from the love tap and then another 5 from the boarding party. So basically every enemy is going to take 10 damage whenever I'm attacking. And that's even before the hits from my units. I don't really see the opponent managing to keep a board like that. But we'll see. The opponents in this adventure have a lot of removal, so they might be able to go ahead and find ways to deal with all the damage we're dishing out, or at the very least they'll be able to go ahead and prevent us from attacking with the Misfortune on the board. And that would mean actually it's not 5, it's 6, because Misfortune increases the damage by 1 while she's on the board. But like I was saying, they might be able to prevent us from attacking with Misfortune on the board. That would severely reduce the amount of damage we deal. Let's just do this. Jump block everything. We obviously take the damage from the darkness. There's no way around that. Next turn I'm dropping down the Island Navigator and going for 2 attacks. That should be more than enough to close out the game. Just the mere fact that we deal 12 damage guaranteed to the opponent's Nexus every time we attack with Misfortune on the board, it's just way too much. I seriously doubt there's any deck out there that could deal with this amount of pressure. Misfortune seems very strong. I would probably consider her 6 star. Not on par with Swain, but she might be a bit below Swain in terms of power. Double Trouble, Accelerated Pursuit. I guess I'll take the Double Trouble just because it summons 2 1-drops. And we do have Eep's Genius. So our 1-drops get buffed up. Timo. Yeah, sure, it's a cheap champion. We can get him down nice and early. Let's not go for the encounter that applies Gloom to all of our units a bunch of times. Stuff that relies on or encounters that rely on keeping control of the board through unit stats might be easier for us to fight against. Like this encounter, for example, the landmark is going to become an 8/8 probably. That dies to our attack. The 5/5 from the Shadow in the Brush dies to our attack as well. So just like that we completely remove the opponent's board. And it's not like the boarding party is doing all that much, just the mere fact that Misfortune was on the board would be more than enough to keep control of the board. It's just that the extra damage helps a little bit. I actually want to preserve the Crackshot Corsair for the damage. I'll deal on attack with her. So let's just drop down the Jagged Butcher to act as a jump blocker to one of the opponent's units. And then I can do... I'll save this spell mana. I'll go for a Make It Rain next turn. It hasn't really come up yet that we cast Make It Rain while attacking with our units for the extra 4 damage here. But it will be useful. Even if it's not now, it might even be useful later on just as a way to drop down the Misfortune if they remove my Misfortune at the start of the turn. Just a nice backup overall. Let's do it now. Just deal late with the Make It Rain. Just so I can say that I used it once while attacking. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. The amount of control you have over, well, the board itself is very nice. We might struggle against encounters that are able to prevent us from keeping a Misfortune on the board safely. So stuff like the Vicious Mockery might be a problem. The Dread might also be a problem, but I'm not really seeing myself being able to deal with the Thalassophobia. Actually, no. Let's go for the Thalassophobia. All of these are pretty bad. I couldn't get some better spells here. Let's pick up the Prismatic Barrier. It will go infinite. It might help against Fiddlesticks. Then let's go for the Thalassophobia because I was thinking the opponent's what's it called? The Longtooths, the sharks. The opponent summons the Shorttooths and Longtooths. Yeah, they're two different types of sharks. The Shorttooths and the Longtooths just die to the attack by default, or they die to the Make It Rain. Either one is fine. So it's okay if I go for this because I can just use Make It Rain while the opponent's attacking with the list, and that will preserve my units. At least that was the plan until I didn't get a Misfortune here. Let's drop on the Jagged Butcher. Maybe it acts as a bait for the list. Now I can play the Teemo safely. I take a bit of damage, but it's okay. Really? Well, that just allows me to deal a bunch of damage to the opponent's Nexus. Hey, we got the Misfortune. Nice. We did miss out on some attacks with the Misfortune, really. I thought for sure the opponent was trying to bait me into attacking so he could play something afterwards. But I guess he didn't really have anything that he could play for 3 mana, which is weird. Normally they have something. Let's just throw out the Crackshot Corsair. Let the opponent play something here. I want to use the Misfortune after the opponent has already used the list, so at the very least Misfortune's safe from whatever the opponent might do. Yeah, I have to keep passing until the attacks with both of these. Actually, I can drop her down now. The opponent will probably pull the golden narwhal and the Teemo. Or just the golden narwhal. I don't know why I didn't pull the Teemo. I guess he didn't want to give me the rally. Yeah, rally banner really messes with the opponent's AI. Well then, let's go ahead and... I'll actually do this. There's a chance we just kill the opponent by doing this. Okay, we just killed the opponent by doing this. It was all based on whether or not the Make It Rain hit the opponent's Nexus. Which it did. Teemo levels up, but that's irrelevant. Even if the Make It Rain didn't hit the opponent's Nexus, it would clear the board because it dealt 8 to everything. I guess that's the power of dealing a bunch of damage to the opponent's units. Warning shot, proximity buff cap. Does this count? I'm going to take the warning shot because I hope it counts the while we're attacking effect. Your spells and skills deal 1 extra damage, I guess. It seems a bit overkill, but it might be good. Also, let's pick up a bunch of Jagged Butchers. And... Prowling Cutthroat. I don't think we need more cards. We already have a decent amount in our deck. Let's skip the healer. Normally, I'd be a little bit more eager to get more cards in my deck, but this deck is rather aggressive. So it might be okay if we just hold back a little bit on flooding our deck with cards. We still want to hit the Misfortune pretty consistently. That's a very strong start from the opponent. But fortunately he doesn't really have anything that kills the Misfortune, so we can go ahead and do this. Attack safely, get rid of most of the opponent's board, until he obviously gets a free Arachnoid Horror from my deck. Well, crap. That's a very strong start from the opponent.
My true beauty.
I can use the Make It Rain to get rid of 3 units here. Never mind. If the opponent or if the Make It Rain hits, deal this. She survives. Let's try to freak out the opponent with the Teemo. Maybe he refrains from attacking, or he doesn't. Oh, it's while in combat. It's not just while you're attacking. That's pretty big. There is a chance we save the Misfortune here if we hit the Make It Rain on the Arachnoid Horror. Other than that, there's the consistency from the double up to save the Misfortune. I think the consistent play is the correct one. It's just deal 7, take advantage of the opponent's attack. I'll save the Misfortune, then I'll go ahead and use her and the monkey to clear 2 of the opponent's units like this. Deal a bunch of damage to the opponent's Nexus in the process. And while we did take a bit of damage here, it's overall fine. Because we're just going to kill the opponent right after this attack. Just in case I'm going to summon 2 units so I can pull more units. This kills the opponent. If he tries to do anything, I'll pull the trigger on the Make It Rains. Okay, he didn't. He had 6 mana, so it's not like he didn't have the resources to try to do something. I guess he lacked any sort of cards that did anything. Entrancing Lure, Crystal Carrier. Let's pick up the Crystal Carrier, I suppose. We want to drop down the Misfortune on 3, so Resplendent Plate Armor is not good, and we don't really want to draw cards. We already draw a bunch of cards by default, and drawing cards by against Fiddlesticks is pretty bad. Deep Cuts. Or Line Weight. Line Weight no, I'm not going to be cutting the Slippery Wave Rider from my decks. And we do have a bit of spell, so Line Weight doesn't really do much. Let's pick up the Deep Cuts. With the opponents taking double damage from it with the what's it called? Deadly modifier, it might actually result in some nice skills against the opponent, or at the very least it deals a bit of cheap damage against them. I think we just die to the Pale Death. Survive the night is going to be a bit of a problem because we can't just kill the opponent with damage. But if we can use the Misfortune to keep control of the board, it should be alright. If we can even get the Misfortune. And we get the Undying. Or the opponent gets the Undying right away. I played the game relatively recently against this encounter, where the opponent just hit the 3 Undyings at the start of the game, and I couldn't do anything about it. And I just lost. And he hits a second Undying, of course he does. And because the opponent just has a bunch of units right at the start, because he got lucky, he can just afford to attack right away without me being able to attack first to try and trim the opponent's board. That's extremely unfortunate. I'm going to need a miracle to win this game. I'm going to need to go Petty Officer into something else this turn in order to be able to match the opponent's aggression. I can actually go Petty Officer and try to use the Make It Rain to get rid of the opponent's board. I have to do it. This has to block here. Let's go ahead and hit 3. Deals 9. The problem is if we go ahead and don't block, or it hits the ones that we're blocking, that would be a problem. 7, I'll take the least amount of damage possible. I think this was a pretty bad hit. We wanted to block with the Powder Monkey, and we wanted to protect our other unit. That's terrible. Let's hope the opponent doesn't attack right away. I want to go Island Navigator into attack. He attacks right away. Of course he does. Why wouldn't he? Let's block with all of our units. Just have to do this like this, I suppose. 6, 6, 5. I die if the Make It Rain doesn't hit one of these. Let's gamble. Okay, we hit one of those, so we're alive. Barely though. But we don't get any... But we don't get to save any of our units, so we don't even get to attack. Oof, we're getting extremely unlucky this encounter. At the very least, the opponent decided to freak out and play a bunch of spells or a bunch of spend a bunch of mana on equipping and re-equipping that escaped abomination. The unfortunate part is I'm pretty sure we just die here because we can deal with the opponent's attack. Maybe if he decides to be a dum-dum and does just that, we might be able to pull off the victory. We can deal 9 here. Actually, we just lose to the overwhelm, I think. Yep, we lose to the overwhelm. We can't even blast the opponent with the double up. This is extremely unfortunate. We got so unlucky that the opponent not only hit a bunch of undyings at the start, but he also got a bunch of units at the start, so we couldn't consistently use our units to attack into the opponent to trim the opponent's board down. Encounter is so terrible. You either stomp the opponent or you just pull in the back foot the entire time. At the very least, we can capture one of the undyings right away with the Aural Explorer. He gets a second undying. Of course he does. Why wouldn't he get a second undying? Let's drop down the Aural Explorer. We can block with the Powder Monkey there. Let's drop down the Jagged Butcher. Trades consistently into the Stygian Onlooker. Well, at least he's getting rid of all of his lifesteal units at the start. That's something. The unfortunate part is he's obviously not going to block this attack, so I can't get rid of the Stygian Onlooker. I did get a Heeker though, but the Heeker does no damage. Actually, it does. It does because it's technically not me dealing the damage, it's the opponent dealing damage to himself. Makes sense, I suppose. Let's drop down the Teemo. I intend to use the Make It Rain here. We'll block here, block there. And hope the opponent... Okay, it didn't kill most of my units. I only take 5 here. This is probably the best outcome. I don't know if they changed the fact that the Heeker deals damage to the opponent now. Pretty sure it didn't deal damage in the past. Let's attack like so. Try to get rid of both the opponent's units. That way you won't be able to attack with them. I did waste the scout attack from the Teemo though, which is a bit unfortunate. But it's fine. We've now established board control. And we can do this, prevent the opponent from dealing any further damage to our Nexus. Next turn is going to take an additional 6 damage from the Heeker. We're in a great position. We just need to survive this turn and the opponent will die. If he doesn't heal, obviously. Crackshot Corsair, sure. Let's do double Make It Rain. Guess I'll do a Puff Cap up because I have the spare mana. There it is. Let's drop double Make It Rain there. We take the 9. Or we probably take the 9, so let's just do this. like so. Oh, we hit the make it rain there, so we're safe. We don't even take extra damage from the overwhelm unit. We're safe then. The opponent just dies here. I mean, we don't even need to strike into him. He would die to this damage from the Ichor and his own effect next turn, but this just seals the deal, just in case he finds a way to heal. Now he takes 14 from the Ichor. 16 actually. I thought that it was 7 times 2, so it's 14. Maybe it gets increased by in some capacity from somewhere, I don't know. Sure, let's pick up the warding shot, it's cheap. And let's go for a shop. None of these are that appealing. Hold them off is nice, it buys us time against the opponent stuff. Let's reroll. Double attack on the Crackshot Corsair. I'll take it. The Crackshot Corsair is cheap enough. Ooh, and we get access to another shop before we face off against Fiddlesticks. That's going to be nice. I'm in desperate need for some good cards because unfortunately we no longer have the safety net of the revive. Seriously? No misfortune? I guess I can develop decently enough with double one drops here. Let's deal 6, see if we hit something good. Written in stars for the to find the misfortune, I suppose. The opponent's also taking a bunch of damage here. Not only from the Crackshot Corsair, but from the Teemo attack as well, and the love tap. And the Ichor. Ichor is going to do a bunch of damage next turn. I'm going to need that extra damage because the opponent has a very scary board. And it's going to be even scarier. Let's do Petty Officer, try to drop enough units onto the board to stall out the opponent. Let's see if I find something good here. Another written in stars, I suppose. Do I take the 4? I'll take the 4. We can purchase healing at the next healer encounter. Full spell mana. Well, now we can find... I was about to say we can find a misfortune, but the game had a different set of plans, I suppose. Just pass the turn and we close out the game, but let's just secure the victory right away. No point in making the game go on for longer. That just gives the opponent the opportunity to mess us up. Fiddlesticks is going to be a nightmare. If he has removal, that is. If he doesn't have his removal, I might be able to stand a chance against him. Shop. None of these are that great. Quick draw makes our turns a bit more flexible and makes us be able to get rid of the cards we draw a bit better. Parlay, I guess. We can't use it alongside an attack, but we can just use it to tutor for our champions. That will be cheaper because of the quick draw. So basically, if this game goes on for long, we just die to decking out. So we need to get an aggressive hand here at the start in order to close things out nice and early. There goes the Teemo. We get the misfortune at the start that we can play alongside something else. Nice. Let's do Puff Cap up. That baits the opponent into hopefully playing the removal. Or maybe not. Let's hope I didn't get baited by the opponent. Okay, I didn't. That's huge. That's huge, that's huge. We can now do this. Get rid of everything the opponent has on board. Let's get an Equinox. I think the silence is going to be useful. Unfortunately, the card we drew had a nightmare on it. But it's okay. Things could be a lot worse. There's the... I guess we don't need to Equinox this turn. I was about to say that's where the Equinox is going to be useful. Really? You had that last turn and decided not to use it on the misfortune. Do you really think the Puff Cap up is that much of a threat that you need to get rid of it right away? I guess so. Let's drop down the Petty Officer. I want to save the mana for the either version of the Misfortunes Make It Rain. Either the champion or the spell. Yeah, I figured he would do that. Time to gamble. Let's see if we hit the... It's 3 out of 4. So there's a high chance that we just hit it. Okay, we hit it. Nice. We're safe then. I think we would lose if I didn't save the misfortune here. Opponent mills a bunch here. No, only 3. We might be able to close out the game here. Do I dare attack with the misfortune right away? Or do I get greedy and play something else first? I'm going to get greedy and play something else first. I shouldn't have done that. I knew it was the Crow Storm turn. And I still went ahead and played greedily. Well, at least I have the backup misfortune. Then we can go for the Puff Cap up. Let's get rid of those two. We hit another misfortune. Guess we can try to last a bit longer by playing the Make It Rains as much as possible. We're still relatively safe in terms of cards. We have 13. Fiddlesticks on board though, that's a problem. Can capture the Fiddlesticks and something else. I'm going to do it.
Of course, expeditions lead to acquisitions.
That's going to be nice. Actually, let's set up for a kill next turn. We'll do double trouble here for the units. That's unexpected. Extremely unexpected. I can take the 12 though. And I can even misfortune into Teemo. That's nice. If we don't get any more hit with any more Terrifies, I should be fine. And with the team on board now, with Scout, we can go ahead and do this. Deals 14 to the opponent's Nexus, gets rid of the Fiddlesticks, deals 12 to the enemy's Nexus. That's nice. The opponent's not doing anything. He's passing with 9 mana open. That's extremely suspicious. This is a kill. That's a kill there. That's a kill there. We can deal 11. 28. I think this is the play. Let's try to burn the opponent down like this. Yeah, I was expecting that to happen. As long as misfortune stays on the board, it's fine. We'll just make up for the remaining damage with the Make It Rains. And I get the free rally off of the Teemo. Drops on another Fiddlesticks. Now that's a problem. But I still have a bunch of misfortunes. Ooh, double reap. If I just attack once with misfortune, I'll... Actually, no, I have Crackshot Corsairs for free. So I wasn't even under any threat here.
I'm one of the good guys, but not that good. Ready? Aim.
This is fine, this is fine, this is fine. There! Game over for the opponent. We did get dangerously close to losing though. The opponent might have killed us by decking out this turn. So we either won there or we didn't win at all. Oh, that was rough even at 6 stars. I am using a little bit of a budget set of relics. Nah, it's mostly the opponents that got lucky with some of the hits, especially against the Survive the Night encounter. Oh. So yeah, that will be it for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Till then.